Beyond the Gate spoilers, October 6th. Chelsea's confrontation ends with Tomas's revelation. The Dupree family is in danger after receiving an anonymous gift. Chelsea stands in the eye of a storm, locked in a showdown not only with Tomas, but with a brutal truth that has been hidden for far too long. A truth capable of crushing the fragile pieces of faith she still clings to about her family. Her anger ignites like a spark to dry grass when she discovers that Tomas is not only a betrayer or a user, but a tool in the hands of Bill, the very father she once idolized and later turned her back on out of abandonment. Chelsea's fury isn't reserved for Tomas alone. It's the shock of realizing that every piece of advice, every moment of closeness between Tomas and Kat did not come from genuine feeling but was part of Bill's insidious design. Her father's name becomes a blade twisting in her mind, leaving her heart seething and aching, because her own blood has made her a pawn in a filthy game of power. And the instant Chelsea grasps that truth, past and present blur together. The image of a father who once held her hand on the way to school and whispered encouragements transforms into the cold face of a puppeteer pulling strings from the dark. When Danny left Bill, Chelsea chose to cut ties, leaving behind a void she thought time would fill. She never expected Bill to find another path back to her. Not through love, but through manipulation. Kat, her closest cousin, suddenly becomes the bridge Bill uses to return, not with sacred fatherly affection, but with a dark purpose that makes Chelsea recoil at the thought that she was ever the center of these calculations for Kat. Hearing the truth is like being cleaved in two. She had believed that Tomas, flawed and weak as he was, still felt something for her, at least the flutter in his eyes, the seemingly intimate moments. But learning that it all may have sprung from coercion, from Bill's manipulation, causes everything inside her to collapse. Love turns out to be a veneer covering a power play, and she herself is nothing more than a mercilessly moved piece on the board. The sense of being used surges in Kat, making her want to weep, to scream, to take revenge. In that moment, she is forced to face the most painful question. Did Tomas ever truly love her? Or was it all an illusion nourished by strings Bill tugged from behind the scenes? The tension rises not only in accusations and furious glances, but in invisible questions hanging in the air. Did Bill truly mean to hurt Kat? To make her a sacrifice? Or did he simply exploit Kat's bond with Chelsea to extract information and find a way back into his daughter's heart? If his endgame is Chelsea, the path he chose is cruel. For instead of mending, Bill gouged deeper into old wounds, driving Chelsea further away. She now stands before a brutal fork in the road. Forgive her father, though she knows he exploited those she loves, or keep severing and expose the truth, even if it means destroying the last blood tie still holding. Amid the chaos, Tomas stumbles into a bitterly absurd position. He is trapped between two lines: on one side, Bill's pressure and manipulation. On the other, whatever genuine feeling he may have had for Kat. Perhaps he once thought he was clever, using Bill for gain, or the reverse, that Bill was using him, but gradually Tomas himself lost the ability to tell truth from lie. He confused coercion with the hunger to be loved, stitching together stray emotions and mistaking the patchwork for love. Now that Chelsea has dragged the truth into the light, he has nowhere to hide. Every excuse rings hollow, leaving only the bare, ugly facts and the contempt in the eyes of those he once clung to. Chelsea's rage now becomes a flame that incinerates every illusion. She looks at Kat, ally and victim in one, with a gaze taut with both pity and anger, because Kat let herself be deceived for too long. She looks at Tomas with loathing, seeing him as nothing but a filthy instrument. Above all, Chelsea imagines Bill with a mixture of love and hatred, for no one but he has the power to wound her so deeply. Her heart longs to embrace her father, but her reason screams that Bill has betrayed her, betrayed the family, betrayed the most sacred bond of all. Kat sinks into inner chaos, grieving the realization that her love may have been a mirage while raging at being turned into a chess piece. She wonders if she can walk out of this spiral without a scar. But the truth has been branded in, and Kat knows there is no way out for any of them except to face Bill head-on, the man who lit the fuse. The more she thinks, the deeper her resentment burrows, because she has not only lost Tomas. She has lost faith in family and in ties she thought unbreakable. They are all cornered with no safe exit left. Chelsea must choose. Forgive or sever, hold close or expose. Kat must accept that she was a pawn and either rise or be drowned by bitterness. Tomas must face himself and ask if the love he felt was real or merely the product of manipulation. And Bill, the one who started it all, will face the fury of both women and the price for the cold calculations he mistook for wisdom. Elsewhere, Leslie is not the kind of woman who lets fate decide, yet in little seen moments, she can be swept away by a surge of feeling. This new discovery leaves her lightheaded, as if a string of failures and old bitterness has been lifted from her shoulders, leaving a vague opening she had never dared to imagine. News that Ted has finally divorced Nicole is more than a family event. To Leslie, it's a door swung open, a rare chance to step into territory she has long coveted but never reached. A sweet, faintly proud thrill blooms in her, because Ted now belongs to no one, and that makes everything feel possible. Her elation isn't just about Ted becoming a free man. Leslie also relishes watching Eva rise up to challenge Kat for Tomas. The scene is like a play she never directed yet still satisfies her instinct to witness another's downfall. Kat once cast herself as the center of all things, the tough, brilliant one, but now Eva has her pinned to the wall. Kat's humiliation is a heady tonic for Leslie, because in this power game, every one of Kat's losses feels like a personal release. Leslie senses luck tilting her way. When others lose control, her own chances come into sharper focus. Yet the giddiness is not merely schadenfreude. It also springs from a vague but dangerous bond with Ted. She knows full well that stolen glances, small intimacies, and even that one unplanned night cannot be dismissed as a passing mistake. The memories return again and again, making her feel embarrassed, desirous, afraid. What if, from that reckless moment, she is carrying new life? The thought sends a shiver and a thrill through her, because it would bind her fate to Ted's forever, whether he wants it or not. The more she thinks, the more it feels like fate is smiling. In that wild vision, if Eva is pregnant too, the story will turn even more chaotic. Two women, with their own agendas and positions, carrying the blood of men being torn between them. For Leslie, that isn't just a secret, it's leverage. A child with Ted would be a shield, freeing her from fear and from a life on the margins. That child would prove she is no longer a spectator from afar, but an indispensable part of this tempestuous world. But beneath the euphoria, a quiet darkness gnaws. If joy is born purely of someone else's collapse, can it last? If Ted sees her as a mistake, a night of weakness, does she have the strength to hold him? And if the truth about a child is exposed, will it bring happiness or launch a new chain of tragedy, where every bond cracks under suspicion and jealousy? Leslie knows happiness has never come easily, and what lifts her today could weigh her down tomorrow. Even so, she can't deny that in this moment she feels more powerful than ever. For the first time in years, fortune seems truly on her side, and that feeling alone could make her risk everything, even ruin, just to taste the sweet power that used to be only a fantasy. But will it actually work out for Leslie? Will Ted really let go of Nicole? If Leslie is truly pregnant, what choice will Ted make? While Ted teeters in the chaos he helped create, the Dupree family, long accustomed to subterranean storms, finds this one heavier, more layered, more complex than ever. Outwardly, they still present as a solid, upper-crust clan, but inside, the cracks are widening, pulling each member into a whirl of anger, betrayal, and fear. No one is truly at peace, and every decision feels like a sharpened blade carving fresh wounds into those that have barely begun to heal. Ted, a seasoned man, understands this family's fragility better than anyone. So when Smitty comes to him, Ted is forced to offer hard counsel, the kind that is bitter to hear but necessary. To Smitty, Ted's blunt honesty feels like a bucket of cold water thrown in his face, forcing him to confront his own selfish choices and mistakes. Ted doesn't scold, but the weight in his words leaves Smitty nowhere to hide. Deep down, Ted knows this advice could earn Smitty's resentment, yet he says it anyway. If he doesn't, the tragedies will only keep repeating. Smitty walks away simmering, angry at Ted for daring to judge, but also afraid that his brother-in-law might be right. The conflict burns inside him, turning Smitty into a bomb that could detonate at any moment. Meanwhile, Kat turns to her mother. After Chelsea's fierce confrontation with Tomas, she is so shaken that only her mother feels like safe harbor. Kat has always tried to project strength, confidence, control, but in front of her mother, the shell cracks, exposing confusion and the sting of betrayal. She never imagined she would end up here, trapped between feeling naked truth and the family's appraising gaze. Her mother listens, but that listening offers no relief. It is a mirror that forces Kat to interrogate herself. Did she trust Tomas too much, too blindly to see Bill's hand on the strings? Or was she so weak that she let Chelsea pull the veil away in front of everyone? Inside Kat, anger and shame collide, funneling into a tempest that makes her want both to flee and to strike back at the same time. Anita and Vernon face a new dread. An unwanted gift arrives with no note, only an ominous symbol, enough to send a chill through both. In a family accustomed to luxury, gifts usually carry joy or treasured memories. This one radiates gloom and threat. Vernon immediately suspects a warning, a message that they are being watched, that the past isn't asleep and old enemies still lurk. Anita's mind runs a different course. She cannot rule out Leslie, the one woman whose next move no one can predict. The thought fills Anita with fury and fear, because if it really is Leslie, the gift is not a mere scare tactic but a declaration that she is still here, still powerful enough to upend their lives whenever she chooses. Inside the Dupree home, the air grows dense, every breath tinged with suffocation. Chelsea still seethes after exposing Tomas, nursing fury for her father and for those who used Kat. Kat torments herself over being turned into a pawn, wondering whether Tomas ever truly loved her or if it was all a long-running performance. Ted flounders between duty and affection, knowing each well-meant word can become a fuse for new wars. Smitty is riddled with pride and dread for what lies ahead. Anita and Vernon live with the sensation of being watched, each day a step on thinning ice. And Leslie, even in absence, hangs over them like a ghost, sowing suspicion in every mind. None of them can find real peace. Every step and every choice inches the family closer to the brink. Supporting one another no longer means sharing burdens. It has curdled into a binding pressure. Ted advises Smitty to save him, yet unintentionally stokes his resentment. Kat leans on her mother only to see her own weakness more clearly. Anita and Vernon confront the unwanted gift but plant seeds of doubt about how to respond. Even their moments of apparent unity contain fractures ready to split them into shards in this ruthless game. Each member of the Dupree family is a cornered piece on the board, with no retreat left. Anger, betrayal, fear, and ambition mix into a dangerous compound, making each person both victim and culprit. And with the gift still unclaimed and unexplained, it becomes the emblem of an invisible threat hanging over them all, a reminder that the nightmare isn't over, that harder choices are still ahead, and that sometimes the cruelest enemy is the one they once called family. When will the Dupree household know peace? And will Kat finally walk away from her entanglement with Tomas? Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. All the content I make is just speculation and personal sharing. If you find the video interesting and useful, please support me with a like and leave a comment. If you have better ideas or more interesting speculations, please share them in the comments section for everyone to discuss. I appreciate all your contributions and support. Sincerely, thank you.